I.A.G Farms. It's all about God. Just made it out to the farm today, and getting ready to do farm chores, and then we just bought a welder. So I'm gonna get a little welding done on the bush hog. Gonna get the bush hog welded up so that we can do some cutting around here. The grass is getting kind of tall, but first I'm gonna get out here and I'm gonna move the sheep, get the bottle calf, or the old bottle calf. She's not a bottle calf anymore. Get the calf and the sheep that's in there, the pregnant sheep in there, get them fed, and then get all the pigs fed as well. But today it's just gonna be ripping and running on the farm, getting welding done, and we're gonna see if we can get this bush hog welded and get some of this grass cut. But it's I.A.G Farms. It's all about God. Let's see what we can get into today. Come on, sheep. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Hey man, that's him to just step on, please. Can you hand something over top? Thank you. But there's something else that I need to get welded right there. Right now I just have a block of wood right there on that axle, and so I can weld that to where it won't come off, because sometimes, you know, when I get on the hill it'll come off when I'm moving it. So I'm moving it a little bit further, but I had to get in there and put that block of wood back there to hold the axle level. I'm gonna get in there and drag that water a little bit too out the way, because we used to use these size waters right here, but what happened was, because we turned this into our ram pen, and so what happened was that the Boaz, our ram, he would be butting the little ram, and they would knock these little waters over. And so we gave them that blue water there, because we can put more water in there, and it's not as easy for them to knock over. So I'm gonna get that moved, and get them moved a little bit further to where their whole pen is in the green grass. All right, so we got the sheep moved. Ideally, we would like to move them more often, but right now, you know, we sold our camper, so we're not staying down here on the farm. We're staying in the city until we get a resurrection cabin done, and it'll probably be a while. But as you can see, with these paddocks where they're moving it, they're really overgrazing these sections, but they're still gonna come back. Because if you go all the way down here, I actually think they weren't there. I think I skipped over that spot. But if you come back down to some of these spots here, you can see, and you can see that the last couple of days, this is what, 1, 2, 3. This is 3 days worth of grazing right here, and they're on the 4th day now. And so you can see what this week looks like. But as you go back to last week's grazing, you can see that the greenery is starting to come back because they're overgrazing it, but they're also, you know, they're still fertilizing, putting down their manure and putting down fertilizer on the ground, so it comes back pretty quickly. And it hasn't been raining a whole lot either. But this is last week's grazing, and I think that stops about right there. And then you go on to here, to the week before last grazing, about 5 or 6 days of grazing, and you can see that it comes back. So I think they started right there in that section, and as you can see, that's back green, and all of this look just like this section that's right here, because you can see that they overgrazed it, but it's still green down there. You probably can't see it on camera, but the grass, if you can kind of look at it, you can see that the grass is kind of patchy anyway. So it's not full with grass, so that when they eat the grass all the way down, it looks like there's dirt, but it's just actually still those same patches. But yeah, so overgrazing, but we're just trying to do the best that we can right now, you know, to keep them on pasture, and I have to put them just in one pen. But we don't come down, you know, we don't live down here right now, so we're not able to move them 2 or 3 times a day in this round pen. And this round pen is 100 square feet. I know it looks kind of rough right now, but that's another reason why we bought a welder. And y'all gonna see me do a little welding later on in today's video. But I'm gonna get a pole, a piece of rebar, and put across the top from there to there to support the sides up there. And then the bottom should be good. That's really the only spot, because last year what happened is that we had a tarp up there to keep the rain out during the winter time. And then a big snowstorm came, and that tarp got full of snow at the top, and it collapsed the top of this pen. And so that's why we ended up putting the sheet down in the pig pen down there for a time until we got this pen over here built. But let me go ahead and get to the rest of these farm chores. I'm gonna get some grain, and I'll bring them some grain back as well. We don't have to give them grain, but we just give them grain just to keep them used to us, just in case they ever get out. So let me go on and get some grain, and we'll keep on doing farm chores, and then we'll get to some welding. heard somewhere, boys, that you're not supposed to rub a ram's head. So when you rub his head, that makes him think that, you know, you're gonna butt him. So you're not, when you rub him, you're not supposed to rub the head, so rub like that back. If somebody like rubbing the head, makes him think you want to butt him. All right, back to where we started. Just got the sheep, their grain. Everybody got grain, everybody's fed. So now we're gonna move on to going down, doing a little welding, and see if we can get this bush hog welded and, you know, get some more practice in. I did a little practicing yesterday, and I finally got to the point to where I could run a bead. All right, so this is what we got. Got this old bush hog, not sure what type of model, make or model it is. I got this bush hog with my first tractor that I bought, and I've been using it ever since. And like I said, it cuts good. It has good blades and a good gearbox on there, but as you see, it's starting to rot out, and it's pretty rotten. It's in pretty bad shape. So we're gonna try to connect to this end metal here. It's a whole lot thicker because this metal here wasn't very thick, and we're gonna go back with about the same size or thickness of metal on there, some sheet metal, but because metal is so expensive. But this is what we're working on, and I'm gonna go and get my welder and get my grinder and everything out and cut some of this stuff off, and you start a welding. Alright, y'all, so I'm finna run out of daylight. I'm gonna have to finish this project another day. But I'm gonna turn you around, let's see what I did so far. Alright, it's taking so long because I was having problems getting the metal to connect to the bush hog, because the metal that I'm replacing, the sheet metal that I'm using, is a little bit too thin, and the welder, no matter how much I turn it down, it's kind of melting this sheet metal here. But I think I kind of figured it out. I'm kind of doing like a big bead right next to the sheet metal, and then kind of letting that bead flow into the sheet metal instead of welding directly on the sheet metal. And that seems to be solving the problem. So instead of melting it, it's kind of just lightly attaching to it, you know, cause yeah, so that's pretty much what we're looking at. And then it's also taking a while because this little welder from Harbor Freight, if you weld for 2 minutes straight, you have to wait 6 minutes after you weld for 2 minutes straight. So it kind of takes a little while because you have to wait in between for it to, you know, cool off. And yeah, so that's something that's slowing me down. But as you see, I'm starting to get it attached. That's kind of an example of what it's gonna look like. And you see where we came from these big old holes here. And I would have brought thicker metal, but the price of metal is so expensive. I think one piece of 4 by 4 foot by 5 foot sheet metal that was thicker than this was like $60 or $70 a piece. And I paid like 20 or 30 for these little thin sheets of sheet metal. So metal is kind of expensive. So I bought what I could afford, and I'm trying to make it work. So you can kind of see, if I get a little bit closer, kind of what I'm doing. I'm kind of just building a big bead next to, that's a better example there, because I've only went over this once. You kind of got to go over it twice, build that bead up, and then grind it down a little bit, and then go over it again and build another big bead, and then it'll connect. And as you can see, it gets solid once you get it connected. Yep, so. All right, so that's gonna be it for me today. It's I.A.G Farms. It's all about God. We'll see y'all in the next one.